Testing, 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 testing. Testing, 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 testing. I think about clay and how when you take clay out of a jar, it's able to be molded by anything that touches it. It's able to be molded by anything that touches it. And once a thing touches it, it makes an impression. And I think about clay in comparison to energy. Energy in its purest form is susceptible to anything. The fact that the body starts off in a blank state, you can hang around someone and you can pick up their mannerisms. You can begin to laugh like someone. You can begin to use the phrases they use. You can begin to be impressed upon simply because you are energy. And once that energy has been influenced, just like a chameleon, it can take on the shape of whatever has impressed it. And so, if you think about energy and where everything began, it was just pure, uninfluenced energy. Blank energy, sensitive to anything that touched it. And from this place, it was divine energy. From this place, it was zero. It was love. And I think about the body as a blank vessel, which energy flows through. And I think about pure energy flow as love. And once that energy is impressed upon and influenced, it begins to channel from a descended state in contrast to the free fluidity that it is. And once it begins to deem lower concepts, the channel was changed. And now, what was love from the beginning has changed the channel by taking on lower illuminations and conditions as that free flowing energy was impressed upon. And each channel that energy becomes are episodes and conditions lived out in lower realities. And on each episode, the conditioned persona is now trying to work things out in the conditional episodes that the energy has created by being impressed upon. When in actuality, it can surrender. All was nothing in the beginning, and once this energy was impressed upon, it created a persona, which created a temporal delusive barrier that the body, as an open vessel, has solidified and calcified. And the neural patterns of the brain were sealed, and the eyes are opened in accordance to a separation as opposed to zero energy. And this energy, with its eyes open, has created a habitat in which it lives, and now has created religions to try to put at ease the conditional separation that it made. When in fact there is no need for any religion, because a religion is a pointing back to clear, unconditional energy. And once this energy was impressed upon, the neural patterns of the brain were illuminated and the eyes were opened. And even though this creational energy can connect to the highest realm, the highest domain from which it came, it begins to live within an address of a web of entanglement. Which creates a temporal elusive barrier in which now the current persona begins to experience what it opened its eyes to. Yet, when the body is knocked off, they have the experience of zero. They call this an out of body experience, not knowing that if it dissolved the experience within the body to expand the limited episodes back to the highest channel, which is zero, it would decalcify the persona and dissolve the limited barrier between where it is currently and what it is in actuality. The human consciousness does not produce enough illumination to bring the body in its celestial form. We live in a realm in which, even though we are all connected in love, we go to the other side and say, wow, I never experienced this type of love, when there's only one love. To become one is not an experience, it is home. The neural patterns have illumined in accordance to limited episodes, limited presets, in which we pretend with things such as religion, when in actuality we are all one. You have come into memory or memorial of neural patterns that created and solidified separations between us. And this illumination has infused our members. And this is the persona in which you currently view from. And now you must review and remember. Your body contains what you've currently deemed as separation from self. The separation is the human mindset, which is amnesia. to who you are. An external thing is a separation, yet we connect through external things. Yet we were already connected before the external thing came into form. Now that you've came into form, you are fearful of letting go of the external thing that created the separation between us. Yet, as impressionable energy, your fear is consent to maintain the persona that you came into form in separation to who you truly are, which means your fear is your consent form. You have taken on concepts as impressionable zero energy, which gives consent to your current form. Your persona is your energetic signature because your persona consists of things that you have deemed as being in contrast to zero, which is being. This temporarily seals you since you've energetically signed over. And everything you gave consent form has delivered the persona in which you have your temporal state of being in. It is signed, sealed, delivered by you, the parent, and the student that you are. There are no such things as any of the things we speak about. All is nothing. I think about the term empath. Zero energy from the beginning is susceptible and sensitive to anything that touches it. The more you have released the consent form of the current narrative, the more sensitive your energy has returned to, and the more you feel what's around you. We call this empath, when in actuality, it just speaks of the fact that we are energy. People play with the term reincarnation. When everything started as zero, there was nothing. Once something came into form, the brain took on preset concepts in which the same neural patterns recycle. And once you recycle the same neural patterns, the ones in which you conceptualized and conceived and were born into the limited realm by, the constant recycling could parabolically be reincarnation. Yet, if you dissolve the concepts that would recycle, there would be no such thing as reincarnation. All is zero. The human consciousness is excited about the concepts of separation. Someone once asked me, was I channeling, because they don't understand that they themselves are a channeler living different conditional concepts until you tune into the unconditional. Stillness is not something you practice. Once you change the channel to the unconditional and no longer go by the limited episodes, you just simply become still. Yet in the lower realm that has left zero, stillness has become the main thing when it is no thing. It speaks of the separation that the body has taken on. And now in this realm, every body is looking for some body to complete them. Until you become no body. By expanding the heart and understanding that the concepts that infuse the body has created a delusional temporal separation. Then you will see. What you see now is within time and separation. It is within time. Once you dissolve the concepts, you stop watch of what you see. I think about the brain and how neural patterns illuminate as far as external things. And now your body is controlled by going from one external thing to another. And I think about the fact that this is a continuous cycle. And anything other than the neural patterns that are currently illuminating is considered fear or the unknown, when there was a time, in fact, that what you know now was unknown. All things are, all things exist. If you are willing to lay it all down, you will rise up. Yet you are not the body. This does not simply speak of laying the physical down. It is the mental construct that illuminated your hands to pick those things up. This speaks of changing the channel. Surrender is the message. Yet, when it was just zero, there was nothing to surrender. Now the emotions are calibrated by concepts that exist from the leaving of zero, which creates a doctrine called surrender. There was a time when love was not the answer, and love was just being. In this time, there was no or less doing, and it was timeless. We were connected in love. And even in the lower channeled versions of love, if you release the impression, you will feel that it's all love, always, forever.